Winspiration, the way to the essential. On UK Health Radio, Winspiration brings wisdom and information for an extraordinary future. Together, we can shape the world we want to live in. So let's get real and create the idea. Be extraordinary. Welcome to another episode of Winspiration Radio. And again, I like to give you information and insights or some ideas to reflect that you can create your presence and especially the future extraordinary. Today's topic, I like to talk or reflect about AI and the inner game. Artificial intelligence is something what is now, as we say, I'm coming from the German language, is in every mouth. So we talk about it a lot. And most talks about it is the fear, the stress we have with it. And on the other hand, I just wrote an article for the UK Health Radio magazine Triangle, and it was more about the inner game. And I used the example of car and driver. That we really understand we are not our body. We have the body. And if we have as a car a scratch, we would not say, I have a scratch. If the car has a flat tire, would we say, I have a flat tire? Normally we say the car has a flat tire. But a lot of problems, and I'm talking about myself here, I had in my past or created with my body, was not just by accident, it was not just by violence from the outside. Most physical problems I have were caused because of my lifestyle. And like with the car, I can go to the garage and say, please fix this and that. And they might fix it. But if the driver is not understanding that he caused the problems, then easily next week's the same problem. It's the inner game we need to understand. What do I need to change? And most of the time it's just taking the responsibility. See that we are self-responsible. What is our body? How is our body functioning? What is our mindset, emotions? How we create the body? What did I do? How did I drive the car that this got the flat tire, the scratches, or maybe machine problems because I was not taking care of the right oil, and so forth. It's so much more about the inner game. And if we, and I don't want to go in this talk too much into it, as we had other talks about it already, what is consciousness? What is the unlimited possibilities? Who we are really, 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 what is our true self? And what do we want to experience as a conscious agent in our finite reality here? And I just want to make aware of what is inside of us is reflecting, is expressing in our body or our car or whatever we do and experience. You can go in someone's house and directly get a feeling, what kind of person is that? What is the taste? Is there order? Is there no order? And it's really amazing if you go also through towns and the different areas, like when you see slums, areas where so-called poor people live, had nothing to do with happiness or not happiness, had nothing to do with the worth of a human being. But you see, if you compare it with rich areas where rich people live, there is order, the rich people have a clean garden and everything, and the poor person slums not as more chaos. So it's not about what is better or what needs to be done. It's just be aware of the patterns. Be aware that it's always an inner game what you see on the outside. In your body, in your garden, in your house, at your car. So now I come to what we call now artificial intelligence and what we are talking about it. What is the foundation or the reason for most discussions, for most articles, for most courses which are sold now? The basic, most of the time, is fear. And this is the inner game again. Why can't we be neutral? Artificial intelligence on the outside. You can be very critical and say, oh, there is risk in it. It might threaten humanity or not. But do you need fear inside? Why do we have fear? Look back in history. There was an invention, for example, in Great Britain, the steam machine. Wow, did it change the world, as we know. But at the beginning, when it came out, the invention, and we had a lot of people hard working in factories, in the textile industry. We have children at work and everything. And they realized if the machine is implemented in a lot of areas, it will take our present job away. So when they were fighting, and there were strong fights, even really brutal fights, even there was killings because of fear of the steam machine. But was it really the fear of the machine? No. And it was not really the fear of humans using the machine. It was just simply the fear, I lose my job, I lose my existence, I don't know how to survive. And this has two reasons why we do this. First of all, the history of humans is based on fear, on learning how to survive. Every change can be really risky. And we learned only to see what there is. And we didn't create the creativity, oh, might it be really good that the work I didn't really like, but just needed to do to survive, is now replaced by something what makes my life easier? We're normally not asking our question. We're just feeling something is taking away. And that's what we always see, that people are afraid of change, not really of the change, but what they fantasize about the change. And they fantasize because they know what they have. If this is gone, it will be worse. It's understandable if you look back in history and let's say you lived somewhere and there were fruits and you could live from the fruits. Now, climate change or whatever came, and the fruits were not there anymore. So then at that place maybe were no food. So it was really dangerous and threatening when something what helped you to survive was gone. Normally in that time, well, people died or moved somewhere else. But if the steam machine time comes, okay, now they take away where I lived from, what helped me to survive. But where in Great Britain should I go? It's in every city the same. And that is really stressful. Because we never learned really if something goes out of our life, especially in the modern world, it can create something what brings so much more possibilities to survive, for more freedom, for a better life. Because we all know today, we would look back, who wants the life without the steam machine again? going back to this hard work. We had crazy situations. The steam machine also helped to invent what we call train. There were tracks and then a train, and there was a steam machine in front and pulling all the wagons. And one day, someone invented the diesel machine. So we didn't need the steam machine, which needed people to shovel coal, to have the fire that creates the steam. And we had the same situation again. Those people who did the hard work shoveling coal were processing and said, no, we can't get rid of the steam engine in front and the train. We have to protect us. And then at the time we had already unions, and the unions were fighting, and in some areas they were so successful that they could arrange that the guy who was shoveling the coal couldn't be fired and needed to be employed for years now. Up to 4 years they were employed. That just modernization could take place, but not that this guy loses a job. But if you see it from a different angle, you see someone then, 4 years, needed to go to work, needed to sit in the diesel machine, in the train, having his lunch, reading newspapers, and that's it. People who did this for 4 years had a harder time later to change their life. Because all these inventions, steam machine, created a huge empire, created more mass production possibilities. It increased the level of quality of life. And the same we had later, or we experience it today now with the artificial intelligence. We are so afraid and protesting against artificial intelligence or using it because it takes jobs away. Now in Hollywood, they go on strike. And not just those who are writing scripts and artificial intelligence is taking over. No, even actors are protesting because the actors also are in danger losing their jobs because more and more artificial avatars will be in the film. And it's harder for us to realize who is real or not real. So we don't need the high-paid actors anymore. This is what makes people go on the street, go on strike, or fight. But it's again only focusing on what are we losing and not what are we creating for a better life. And this is one part of this is a personal problem. I lose my job. I don't know how to feed my family. And the other part is society. Society didn't really learn to take care. In a family, in a, we say, healthy family, if there's something going out, what we made for living now, the family will go together, feed everybody, and say, what is next? In society, we are still not taking care of the humans who are losing the job. And the problem is then also people feel more what they lose because they can see what they have, even if it's not the best, even if it's a shitty job, but they know what they have, and they can't imagine what will come. And with linear thinking and with their fantasies of fear and linear thinking, the brains are only capable of creating situations were really threatening. But it's not about artificial intelligence, it's not about steam machines. It's so often in life that you see people are so afraid. Just take a romantic relationship. And if it's ending, most people are crying because they lose something. They see what they lose. And only a few says, oh, great that we had that. Let's go for the best. That's why I always like to say, and end often here the talks with, the best is yet to come. There is always a possibility for something better. But are we open for it? So now comes another topic, which is really a bit scary with the artificial intelligence. Two things. First of all, this is, we don't want to go too much in the conscious stuff, and I don't believe that artificial intelligence will have ever, for sure not soon, consciousness. But the artificial intelligence can be threatening for humanity anyway. Not because they're intelligent, not that because they are conscious, and it's more that we are humans are too stupid. See what happened already with all the algorithms and Facebook and everything. So we get limited information. We don't know what is true, what is not true, what is fake, but we start to believe. The UK left Europe, the Brexit, and I don't want to talk it's good or not, but just we know today most people voted because of fake information. They were fooled. But afterwards, they voted for the liar to become prime minister. This, I think, is the most scary thing, that we are not clear enough that the humans are not intelligent enough. And artificial intelligence can make it more complicated that we really understand what's going on and lead us to more stupid decisions. That is the main thing. And then there is another, I think, very, very important point we need to face. And here comes again the artificial intelligence and the inner game importance. So the one, maybe for a lot of people, most difficult situation artificial intelligence is creating, that everything goes faster. Everything goes faster. Everything on planet Earth is going faster and faster. If you just go 2,000 years back, well, how are people traveling? Okay, we invented the wheel and it helped us a lot. Come on. But with the steam machine, as I said, hey, we could go faster, we could go further. We had the trains now. We saw maybe all movies from America, how the train companies went from one coast to the other, and it was a big deal. Everything went faster. Then the car came. We had airplanes, and everything goes faster. Business goes faster. And you can see it in sports as well. The games in sports are faster and faster. Look, films from tennis or football 50 years ago, and look today. Even we are inventing sport. If you see what with snowboards today we have in an Olympic Games, that was not possible in thinking. Everything goes faster. That means also the cycle of a business idea, a cycle of a product is maybe shorter and shorter. It's not that we say, oh, okay, I have time to learn in school, I have time to study, and then I have a job for the rest of my life. Because changes in former times were over decades. So we could go through with one job. But now it's not that. We need to change self faster. We need to unlearn faster. And the famous example is the iPhone. The iPhone changed the industry a lot, and most industries didn't get it. And it comes to the inner game again. It's okay somehow if somewhere on planet Earth comes competition and you couldn't see it before. But the moment you see it, here starts the inner game. What are you doing? Are you easy to adjust, or iPhone came, Nokia, the board of directors were high-nosed and says, what is that? A phone with no keys, and it had just a one only. We have 33, we have 47% market share. How can us this funny phone stress? They laughed, high-nosed. 6 months later, it was only 6 months later, they saw they lost the game. Okay, they needed to change, but they lost the market share. They lost the value. They lost the leading position. This is just in the same product range. But the iPhone changed a lot of other possibilities of businesses we know from the camera industry. GPS, you have an iPhone and GPS. You have so much free products in there, which changed the industry. And it's most of them because of their inner game. Kodak, by the way, invented technology which would lead to digital photos, but they put it away because they didn't want to shred the photo paper business. So that is an inner game. Are we protecting the past? Or can we go with the new? And with the iPhone, we see how fast industry is changing. A long old company like Kodak, for years, for decades on the market, could be out of the market in few years if the inner game is not done. Do we want to go back to the old way of making photos? Making a lot of photos, bringing in a shop, and then later getting photos. Otherwise, we bring the film to the shop, and then we got the photos, and then we checked which one was good, which was not good, and then we ask him, okay, make these please and that. Do we really want that? Working with all the chemicals, we never want to go back, really. So why we're fighting? We're fighting because of our inner game. Our inner game. And this is the first thing. Don't worry what artificial intelligence will do. Worry about your inner game. Can I handle it right? Or I'm just dealing with my emotions. Do I let other people's play with fear, really creating my inner fear? So the main thing is to stay true to yourself. And then we often said it's so important is the essence, your essence. What is your true self? Because in a faster changing time, or in a time when jobs are changing, a lot of people will ignore their true self and just jump on something what they believe is good to survive. Maybe on the material level that you get food, but it kills you on the inside. Because if you're working against your true self, what will happen? More sickness, depressions, and everything. If you learn to really be clear about your true self, what is your essence? What is your purpose in life? Why you're here? What you want to accomplish? That will never change. Because artificial intelligence, steam machine, computers, it's just tools on the outside. They can help you to bring your purpose better in the world. They can help you to get rid of tasks you don't really like. They're not good for your unique ability. So we are just getting chances and chances to live better, to live more our true self, and using the new technologies. Use the steam machine for your business, or learn and go to a company. We go back, not everybody could buy a steam machine, but then you could learn and be a valuable employee for those who implement those technologies. And this is a challenging thing today because we need to change, especially when you're older like myself, change your brain. I need to have new skills. I need to learn more about my inner game. And going from learned, unlearn to new learn. So this is the most important thing, what we do. So the inner game is not just dealing with the emotions, it is also reprogramming or building the new brain. Because energy flows always the easiest way. So if you get an impulse from the outside, it goes the same ways in your brain. If you're not creating new ways for the energy in your brain. And that is the main thing to focus on. What do I really want? And you can simply say, well, something with law of attraction and so on. But it starts in the brain to decide what you really want. And are you focusing on the fear, the drama, creating shitty energy in your system, creating pathways in your brain, what not supporting you, then it's your responsibility, not the responsibilities of those who are using artificial intelligence. Because if we're sitting back logically saying, no, we don't want to go back to the steam machine. Oh, it's great that we have planes, we can fly, and this. We have so many things. iPhones I mentioned already. Look around. Dishwashers, washing machines. We have so many artificial intelligence already. And now it's getting better and better. More robots will take over. So much better life quality. But the inner game is also on another topic. The inner game is also when the time goes faster, not just relearning what we say with emotion, but learning faster to change the quality of your questions. We need to increase the quality of our questions, like we know the quality of our questions defines the quality of our life. If I want to reprogram myself, rebuild or new build the brain, I need new questions. Like the Harvard professor said, questions are the receptors where new information can dock. So, how much training we have in having good questions, quality questions. And if you understand that the time is faster, so our questions need maybe different, not only about can I have this and that. So what is the fastest way to reprogram my brain? What is the best way for me to adjust in speed or whatever? So focusing on the inner game is a lot of things. Like driving the car. I can learn to drive faster, but without violating all what I did in the past, my body, my car. So how can I be faster, but even taking more care about my body, my car? And on the level of duality, where high must be low, where cold must be warm, where a question is, must be the answer. Where a problem is, must be the solution. So the quality question creates different tasks for the problem. Which problem do we want to have solved? And then we can get the right, best solutions for us. So if we always go for this, we can increase the quality of life again and again and again. Endless. There is no end. Even if maybe in our thinking we have the limited possibilities. But the universe doesn't have the limited possibilities. And like my mentor Bob Proctor always said, what we experience with the iPhone was there 2,000 years ago. But nobody asks the right questions. Because all the materials, all the informations We're on planet Earth already. So for the next steps, it's all there. But it needs people to ask those questions. How can we, if we create artificial intelligence or whatever modern technology which makes jobs obsolete, how we can create a society that we take care of everybody? How we do that? What is the next model, like a family, having a bigger family? How do we do this? But we know we have enough money, we have enough food on planet Earth. There is no real problem that everybody could survive. It's just our fantasies why we are fighting. Professor Harari, he is a professor in Jerusalem. He uses the example of Jerusalem, saying, look, people, and that is a bigger problem than artificial intelligence, they're in a game, their fantasies, and their habit of fighting about fantasies. Because animals might fight about water, they might fight about food, but not so much about fantasies. But humans, as I said, we have enough food on planet Earth. We have even enough water if we use it right, and we have money for sure enough. Well, why are we fighting? We're always fighting about fantasies. The fantasy was a steam machine will bring. But Harari lives in Jerusalem, and he uses Jerusalem as an example. There are different religions, let's say just the two, the Jewish and the Muslims. And they're fighting who should own Jerusalem, who has a right for the temple, and so on. What for? Where does this fantasy come from that there is a right for that? They have a religion with different rituals. It should be so easy. That says, okay, you go Wednesday, I go Thursday, and there are a lot of associations which work together. There's a lot of people who are coming together, and it's just mainly some politicians, people at the top, who are creating those fantasies. Now we alone need to have it. It's just fantasy, because it's not more food, it's not more water, it doesn't help really the real survival topic. No, it's just a fantasy. Oh, and some people go so deep in fantasies, they're suicide bombers, that they kill themselves because of a fantasy. And it brings no more food, it doesn't bring peace, just for fantasy. And if we look at the Ukraine, Harari says, Russia is the biggest country on planet Earth. Do they really need some more acres of land? What are they fighting for? Why is America, the NATO, fighting? And do they need the Ukraine, the land, for their food? For what? Just for fantasies, for ideas why this should be. And these kind of inner game is the biggest problem we face at the moment. And their artificial intelligence is the threat, theoretically threat, but it's not the artificial intelligence. It's those people who fight for fantasies using AI. And like the nuclear bomb, yeah, there is more and more problems with artificial intelligence to really hurt humanity. But it's not the artificial intelligence. And we need to realize what the real problem is the fantasies, the readiness to fight for fantasies, is a readiness always to go in those fear games and fantasy games, and therefore we are fighting. That's what we need to get real. But we are in a trap. We are really in the trap of having these kind of fights now for thousands of years. And we are trained for it. And we are trained in school, the news. Everybody is training us to be in fear about fantasies. and it's just not the reality. And the modern movement of awareness and be in the now, if you just be in the now and feel yourself now, you're not in the future, you can't go in the fantasies. And then you can be totally happy. Does it mean you should ignore everything? No. But you should learn the inner game, to be in the here and now, to realize who is controlling the inside. Who is this? It's not the outside. It's your brain. Are you using fantasies to scare yourself? Can be the opposite as well. Wow, I fall in love, and let me see, everything is good, everything is fine, and ignoring risk. Oh, this is a super investment. Wow, nothing can go wrong. But it can go wrong. On the level of duality, you get both chance and risk. The question is, what do you allow yourself to see? What is your inner game? What is your inner chemistry? Can you really see and dare to go for the truth? We learn so much to use our intuition to be against something, to feel what could go wrong. But we are not using our intuition for the other polarity, how we could use it. And for sure, very rarely, we're using the intuition for, how can I get to the truth, to the facts? I love the teaching of a professor who created the idea as a British professor. And he come up with the idea. He studied quite normal and things and worked like normal in this 3D world. And then he said, something is not working. I can't really understand it. Let's say simple, how we create a human being. Okay, there is an egg, there's a sperm, there come stem cells, they're dividing, the stem cells dividing, and one day they decide, this is a nose, and this is a knee, and a kidney, a liver. How do they do that? They have all the same potential, but then they decide to do different things. And Rupert Sheldrake is maybe one of the most hated professors in the classical science industry, because the science industry says this is the pattern we want to have, this is the world we want to have, and everything needs to fit in this. But Mr. Rupert Sheldrake came with the idea there must be something outside of what we see, and he got this morphogenetic fields, morphogenetic resonance, and we all know that it exists, but we're not really living with it. Some people with the law of attraction say there must be something, the thinking stuff or whatever, that we can attract things and everything. Quantum physics says, okay, the observer changes things, can influence just by observing, but we are also shaped by morphic resonance. So, and that's why part is from the history, part is today, that people in charge, politicians, love to scare us, because if we're in the morphic resonance of fear, we think in fear. We even believe we are fear because we feel it so strongly. But we just feel a frequency. And it's no problem for us, theoretically at least, that we change our frequency. But we need to be aware of, we need to understand it. And it's so easy. We can choose situations in our head that says, okay, now I think about something what was really, really scary. I can think about something what made me really, really sad. And directly I can go in these emotions and feel it. And we can say, can you go directly in this moment where you feel most of the sadness? And people say, yes, I can. And you see they're changing the body language because what they think, they feel, they act also different. The next moment you can ask them, hey, did you make vacation? Or, what was a place on planet Earth where you feel best, where you felt strong? Or was there some event where you were so super strong, were winning something or whatever, or fall in love? Can you go in this moment again? And people say yes. And they can go in this moment. And then they feel it. So if guided with those questions, then they can do it. But if they're in the trap of the morphic resonance of fear, and they are believing I am, if they're not separating car and driver, if they're not understanding the difference between inner game and what happens on the outside, what is my created emotion and where I pick up others' emotions, where is it just a morphic resonance? Where do I go in resonance with something? If they're not aware of it, they're in the trap. And then, and we saw it with Corona, how easy it was to scare everybody and how people directly fell in the trap and couldn't think right anymore. So it doesn't matter really if it's artificial intelligence, is it a steam machine, is it a coronavirus, is it suppressed, is it politicians? It's just, are you ready to take care of your inner game? Are you willing to lead yourself? Are you willing to control what you think? And be aware, I'm the driver, and my style of driving decides how my body is in shape. My thinking decides what I feel. My thinking decides what I feel and how my body is in shape. I have so much more power if I control my thinking and call it essence. Some say is what is your unique frequency. Everybody has a unique frequency. And if you are aware of your unique frequency, then you don't need to go in the resonance with all the other fear frequency. But if you go on fear, people have the same frequency on that level. There is the same frequency. And partly we love it because then we don't feel alone. And here we come again to the inner game. You're never lonely. And really get it, the difference between alone, loneliness, and uniqueness. If you understand your uniqueness, you don't have a problem anymore. How can I explain it best? We talked about the iPhone already and modern phones. And there are 8 billion people. And just imagine 8 billion people have a phone, a mobile phone. Every would have a separate phone number, a unique phone number. And you could sit wherever you sit, pick your phone, and if you have the phone numbers, you can call any person on planet Earth, wherever they are. Because with the number on your phone and you're pressing the button, you send out the frequency in the universe, and it's exactly go in resonance with the phone who has this number frequency. And you don't need to go in resonance with all the other nearly 8 billion phones. Did you ever felt stress that you have a unique phone number and you're the only one who has his phone number? I guess not. So why should you feel stressed that you have your unique frequency? We all have. And we master the inner game if we learn our inner essence, our inner frequency and live that. Live from there. So you can be on your frequency. It's like having the iPhone with your unique phone number in your hand, and then watch what artificial intelligence is doing. And then decide. And you do it today already. If you look at your iPhone, do you have a clue what possibilities this iPhone has? I don't know everything what the iPhone can do. I decided to use it for these and that, but it can do more. So now artificial intelligence is coming with so much more, and we can decide what fits with our frequency, what do we use to make our life better. So how do you do it? And that's why I do this talk today here, because I see so many discussions and misuse of this discussion to frighten people again. No, don't worry. And can you also say, what if everybody would live the essence? Everybody would understand their unique frequency. And everybody would use from there the artificial intelligence, how they can live their purpose better. If we assume everybody would do this, would we be afraid of artificial intelligence? I guess no. So if we really see it right, we are not afraid of artificial intelligence. We are afraid because we are not living our inner game right. We are not standing for our frequency. And we are mistrusting other people, therefore they do the same shitty thing, not taking care of their inner game. So the best solution is not what is on the outside. Do we need steam machines? Do we trains, planes, artificial intelligence, robots? How can we really learn to play the inner game right? That is aligned with our true self. If everybody would do that, we would use the artificial intelligence so much more to create paradise on planet Earth. So be aware of this and reflect it and use the possibility, if you have family or friends talking about this topic, realizing, because more and more people realizing they have their own frequency and they use the technology to live their purpose better, to bring the purpose better in the world. More and more people start to serve the world, serving the world by living their purpose, serving the world by using technologies that helps them to increase the value of purpose in the world. And we will see so much value. We know that computers already can make better diagnosis than doctors. And like some people say, if you get, for example, the diagnosis of cancer, work only with a doctor who using artificial intelligence and scanning everything right, that you come closer to the truth, have the best treatments possible. I have background as a lawyer, and there's so many artificial intelligence already giving the better decisions what to do for court or whatever. So much support is out there. But the main thing is your inner game. Do you know your inner frequency? Are you living your inner frequency? And are you living from there? And from there, the quality of your questions will be totally different. And that makes the big difference in the quality of your life and how you use the artificial intelligence just for your personal benefit, for the benefit of humanity. And be assured, the best is yet to come. This was another episode of Winspiration, Wisdom and Information to support you getting out of illusions, false identifications, limiting beliefs. We all have the power and potential to be more, do more, have more, give more. Reality is what is possible in the universe, and the best is yet to come. If you want to dive deeper into possibilities of creating the extraordinary future, go to winspiration.global or to wolfgangsonnenburg.com. More information and some free downloads like the email program Dream Goals Reality or a copy of the book The Best Is Yet to Come can be found on the UK Health Radio website under the Listen on Demand and Presenters section. Join us again next week on the Winspiration Show for more wisdom and information to create your extraordinary future.